Have you ever noticed how the harder you grasp at life, the more it seems to slip away? It's as if the universe itself steps back when you push too hard, quietly whispering, "Not yet, not this way." You've been taught that effort is everything, that striving and controlling are the keys to getting what you want. But what if the real secret has been hidden in plain sight all along? What if true abundance, true joy, true freedom isn't something you can capture by force, but something that flows to you naturally when you no longer need it to? Right now, whether you realize it or not, you're standing at the edge of a powerful choice. You can keep running, keep chasing the next thing, the next moment, the next dream. Or you can stop and listen, and remember who you truly are beneath all the noise. Because the truth is, you were never meant to fight your way through life. You were meant to dance with it. Imagine a traveler wandering the endless desert, thirsty, desperate, scanning the horizon for an oasis. The more he runs, the more the sun burns his skin, the more the sands shift beneath his feet, hiding the very thing he longs to find. But when he finally collapses, when he stops resisting and sinks into the earth in surrender, something extraordinary happens. The oasis reveals itself not because he forced it to appear, but because he finally became still enough to see what was already there. This is the secret life has been trying to teach you. In every missed opportunity, every closed door, every moment of stillness you mistook for failure. When you cling tightly to what you think you need, you block the very flow that would bring it to you. When you let go, you become like the open sky, infinite, receptive, effortlessly abundant. You don't need to force the river to flow. It already knows the way. You don't need to climb the mountain by sheer will. The path is carved into the earth itself. Your work is to trust, to release your white-knuckled grip on life and allow yourself to be carried by the current that's always been waiting for you to notice it. Maybe no one ever told you that letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the highest form of strength. To need nothing is to become available for everything. To trust deeply is to invite miracles. To release your grasp is to finally hold the universe in your open hands. Look around your life for a moment. How many times have you fought and pushed and struggled only to feel farther away from what you wanted? How many dreams seem to slip through your fingers the tighter you tried to hold them? That's not because you're broken, or because you didn't want it enough. It's because life was never designed to reward desperation. It responds to trust, to openness, to a heart that knows how to receive without demand. The sages and mystics of every tradition knew this. Lao Tzu spoke of Wu Wei, effortless action, the art of moving in perfect harmony with the Tao, the underlying current of life. He taught that by doing nothing, nothing is left undone. That when you align with the natural flow, everything you seek comes to you without struggle. Not because you chased it down, but because you became the kind of being to whom it naturally belonged. Picture a still lake, perfectly smooth, untouched by wind. In that sacred stillness, the entire sky is reflected without distortion. The mountains, the stars, the rising sun, all mirrored perfectly on the water's surface. But stir the lake with frantic movement and the reflection shatters into chaos. The beauty is still there, but you can no longer see it. Your life works the same way. Your dreams, your deepest longings, your truest fulfillment, they are already present, waiting for you just beneath the surface. But to see them clearly, to receive them fully, you must become still. You must learn the sacred art of non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring about your dreams or give up on your desires. It means you stop tying your sense of worth, your sense of safety, your sense of identity to whether or not those desires manifest. It means you trust that your essence, your value, your wholeness are never up for negotiation. When you master this, something incredible begins to happen. Life starts flowing toward you. Opportunities appear without force. Connections deepen without effort. Miracles unfold not because you chased them, but because you became the space into which they could arrive. Think about it. The most beautiful things in your life, the moments of pure joy, of breathtaking connection, of unexpected grace, did they happen because you forced them? Or did they arrive like soft rain after a long drought, falling into your open hands when you least expected them? You were born to live in that flow. You were born to trust the timing of your life, to surrender to the intelligence that breathes the stars and stirs the oceans. You were born to remember that you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, expressing itself through a human form, playing, discovering, awakening. And none of this requires you to abandon your dreams. It only asks that you loosen your grip, that you let go of the desperate need to control every outcome, to micromanage every step, that you trust there is a wisdom far greater than your limited mind can comprehend, and that this wisdom is on your side. Imagine walking through the forest without a map, trusting your intuition to guide you. Imagine setting sail without fear of the horizon, knowing that the same ocean that carries you will also guide you home. Imagine waking each morning not with anxiety, but with quiet wonder, eager to see what the river of life will bring to your shores today. This is not fantasy. This is the life that becomes possible when you surrender, when you stop trying to bend reality to your will, and instead allow reality to bend you into something far more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to chase, to prove, to earn, to struggle. You are already enough. You are already worthy. You are already part of something vast, ancient, and unspeakably wise. The only thing life asks of you is to trust it, to trust yourself, to let go and let the current carry you where you were always meant to go. There is a certain kind of magic that begins the moment you release the illusion that you must do everything alone. When you soften your grip on life, when you stop clawing and clinging and striving against the natural tides, you start to notice that you were never truly abandoned. Life has been whispering to you all along, in the hush between your thoughts, in the moments of stillness you once thought were empty. Those spaces were never empty, they were sacred, they were invitations. The ancient mystics spoke of the void, the fertile emptiness where all creation begins. In the modern world we are taught to fear emptiness, to fill every quiet moment with noise, every still moment with distraction. But the void is not something to fear. It is not absence. It is the womb of all existence, the silent canvas upon which the masterpiece of your life is painted. When you dare to stop filling every silence, when you dare to stop chasing and simply be, you enter the place where true transformation is born. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, dark ocean at night. You cannot see the far shore, you have no map, no guarantees. Only the sound of the waves, the salt on your lips, the stars wheeling overhead. In that moment, you have a choice. You can turn back, retreat to the familiar confines of your small, predictable life, or you can step into the boat, push away from shore, and trust the tide to carry you somewhere beyond your wildest dreams. This is the moment life is offering you, over and over again, not just once, not just in grand, dramatic moments, but every single day. Every time you release an expectation, every time you surrender a rigid plan, every time you let go of the desperate need to know how it all turns out. You step into the boat of surrender, and the universe, in its infinite compassion, becomes your navigator. There is an ancient Sufi teaching that says, "Be like a hollow reed, through which the divine breath flows." The reed does not block the wind. It does not fight the music. It simply allows. It becomes an instrument through which beauty pours effortlessly into the world. You were meant to live like this, not as a clenched fist trying to force reality into submission, but as an open channel through which life can sing its sweetest song. Think about the river. The river does not argue with the rocks in its path. It does not demand that the mountains move aside. It simply flows, adapting, curving, finding the way of least resistance. And by doing so it carves canyons, nourishes valleys, shapes the face of the earth itself. Strength does not always look like force. Often, it looks like flow. What would happen if you trusted your own life to flow like that? What if you stopped treating every obstacle as a battle to be won and instead softened into it, adapted, flowed around it, through it, beyond it? How much energy have you spent fighting battles that were never meant to be fought? How much peace have you sacrificed on the altar of control? There is a deeper intelligence guiding all things. It stirs the seasons, it blossoms the flowers, it spins the galaxies in their silent dance. This same intelligence beats your heart, breathes your lungs, heals your wounds without your conscious effort. If you can trust it to orchestrate the stars, perhaps you can trust it to orchestrate the unfolding of your life. But trusting does not mean becoming passive. Trust is not laziness. It is the highest form of participation. It means showing up fully but without desperation, acting when inspired but without attachment to outcome, moving with life, not against it, planting your seeds, tending your garden, but understanding that you cannot force the rain to fall. There's an ancient wisdom, carried through the ages by mystics and sages, that says this: when you need nothing, you lack nothing. When you stop needing life to deliver specific outcomes on your timeline, you open the door for it to deliver miracles you never even thought to ask for. You move from the energy of grasping to the energy of receiving, and what you receive is often far greater, far sweeter, than anything you could have demanded. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of deep, abiding trust. It is the calm beneath the waves, the silent root beneath the blossoming tree. You can act from that stillness. You can create, dream, build from that stillness. But your actions will be infused with grace, not desperation. Your creations will grow like flowers reaching for the sun, not like bricks laid with trembling hands. The traveler who wanders endlessly, searching for an oasis, believes he must conquer the desert. But the wise traveler knows that the desert holds its secrets close, revealing them not to the desperate, but to the patient. It is only when the traveler sits, surrenders, sinks his fingers into the warm sand and listens, that the oasis appears, shimmering into being from the heart of stillness itself. You have an oasis within you, a wellspring of peace, wisdom, guidance, abundance, but it cannot be forced. It reveals itself only when you stop running from the silence, when you sit in the center of your own being and listen. So many people spend their entire lives chasing what they already have inside, chasing love, when love is who they are, chasing security, when security is the natural state of a soul aligned with its own true nature, chasing happiness, when happiness blooms naturally from a heart that has made peace with the now. Right now you are being called back to that place within you, back to the stillness you have feared but secretly longed for, back to the river of effortless flow that has been singing to you all along, beneath the noise, beneath the striving, beneath the endless race to become. You don't have to become anything. You already are. You don't have to achieve your way into wholeness. You are whole. You don't have to win, to deserve, to earn the blessings of life. They are already yours. Your only task is to remember, to let go, to trust, to open your hands, your heart, your life, and receive. The universe is not punishing you when it blocks your frantic efforts. It is loving you. It is inviting you to surrender, to realize that you never needed to fight so hard in the first place. It is calling you home, not to a place but to a state of being, a state where peace is not the reward for effort, but the natural soil from which all true abundance grows. And so, the choice is before you, quietly, gently, without judgment. Will you keep running? Will you keep chasing mirages across the burning sands, or will you sit, breathe, listen, and allow the oasis to rise up and meet you? There is a kind of freedom available to you now, a freedom so profound it cannot be given or taken by any external circumstance, a freedom that comes from surrender, A freedom that says, I trust life. I trust myself. I trust that everything I need will find me when I need it most. Because it will. It already is. There is something you begin to notice when you live this way, when you surrender your attachments and float gently on the current of life. You begin to see how the right opportunities seem to arrive at the right time, how the right people cross your path without effort, how the solutions you once tried to force into existence simply appear when you are ready for them. It feels almost like magic, but it isn't magic. It's alignment, it's life flowing through you, not against you. It's you becoming a partner with the very forces that create worlds. You realize that abundance was never something you had to chase. It was something you had to allow. Love was never something you had to earn. It was something you had to recognize within yourself first. Fulfillment was never waiting at the end of some exhausting journey. It was always folded into this moment, quietly offering itself to you, the way a flower offers its fragrance to the passing breeze. When you trust the flow, you stop grasping at life and start dancing with it. You stop demanding certainty from a world that was never meant to be controlled, and you start embracing mystery, embracing wonder, embracing the art of living. You become less concerned with the outcomes and more enchanted by the journey itself. You find yourself smiling without knowing why, laughing at the small miracles that seem to appear around every corner, grateful for the simplest things, the warmth of the sun on your face, the feeling of breath moving easily in and out of your lungs, the quiet knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. This is the life that awaits you beyond attachment. This is the life that is your birthright. Not a life free from challenges, but a life where challenges no longer define you, no longer break you, no longer trick you into believing you are separate from the source of all things. You begin to see that even the hard moments, the confusing moments, the moments that once made you question everything, were part of the dance. They were the bends in the river that you couldn't foresee, but that led you to deeper beauty, greater wisdom, a stronger connection to what is real and lasting. You are not here to control the river, you are here to trust the river. You are here to surrender your fear, your frantic need to know every step, and to open yourself to a rhythm so much grander than anything your mind could possibly orchestrate. And the more you trust, the more life reveals itself to be deeply trustworthy. The more you let go, the more you realize you were never really in danger. You were always held, you were always loved, you were always being guided home. Think of the seasons. Think of how effortlessly the earth moves from winter into spring, from spring into summer, from summer into fall, without forcing, without resistance. Everything in nature knows how to surrender to its season. The trees don't cling to their leaves when it's time for them to fall. The flowers don't fight the closing of their petals at dusk. They trust the cycles, the rhythms, the larger intelligence that moves them. You, too, are part of that intelligence. You are not separate from it. The same force that ripens the fruit, that coaxes the butterfly from the cocoon, that calls the tides to rise and fall, that force lives in you. It beats your heart. It weaves your dreams. It gently pulls you toward the experiences you need for your growth, your awakening, your remembering. And when you resist, when you grasp and push and demand, you suffer. Not because life is cruel, but because you are fighting your own deepest nature. You are fighting the very love that longs to carry you. You are turning your face away from the wind that could lift you higher than you ever dared to climb. When you surrender, you align. When you surrender, you remember. You remember that you are not here to control life. You are here to experience it. You are here to taste its sweetness, to feel its depth, to allow its currents to sculpt you into something more exquisite than your limited mind could have ever planned. You are here to be like the reed, hollow and open, letting the music of existence play through you. You are here to be like the river, supple and strong, flowing with the landscape instead of against it. You are here to be like the traveler who, upon collapsing into the desert sand, lifts his head and finally sees the oasis that was waiting all along, hidden by his own frantic searching. This is not weakness. This is not giving up. This is the highest form of courage. To surrender is to stand naked before life and say, I trust you. To surrender is to release the armor of fear, the chains of expectation, the heavy burden of needing to control what was never meant to be controlled. To surrender is to step out of the small, exhausted self that believes it must do everything alone, and to step into the vast, luminous self that knows it is already one with all things. You have felt this before. You have felt it in the quiet moments, when you stopped fighting for a moment and felt a sudden rush of peace. You have felt it in the moments of awe, standing beneath a vast sky or hearing a song that stirred something ancient in your heart. You have felt it in the moments when you let go of trying to fix yourself or your life, even for a breath, and tasted a sweetness beyond understanding. That sweetness is who you are, that peace is your natural state, that trust is your true home. Everything else, the fear, the striving, the need to grasp and control, is learned. It is programming. It is a forgetting. And it can be unlearned. You can remember. You can come home. And when you do, life will meet you in ways that defy logic. Life will meet you with gifts you never knew to ask for. Life will meet you with love, with abundance, with opportunities so perfectly timed, so intricately woven into your path that you will weep at the beauty of it all. Because you are not separate from life. You are not a stranger in a hostile universe. You are the beloved child of an intelligence so vast, so tender, so endlessly creative, that every moment is an act of love. Even the ones you don't understand yet. Especially the ones you don't understand yet. And so, you can relax. You can breathe. You can let go of the endless struggle to figure it all out. You can rest in the knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be, learning exactly what you are meant to learn, becoming exactly who you are meant to become. Not by force, not by fear, but by trust, by surrender, by allowing yourself to be carried, moment by moment, breath by breath, into a life more beautiful, more abundant, more free than anything you could ever have forced into existence. It's already happening, it's already here. You are already being carried. You only have to say yes. There is a profound simplicity at the heart of all creation, a rhythm so ancient and so wise that it has carried life forward since the beginning of time without once needing to be forced. It is the rhythm of allowing, the rhythm of trust, the rhythm of surrender. And you, even with all your doubts, even with all your fears, are already moving to its beat more often than you realize. Every time you laugh without planning to, every time you feel love well up inside you for no reason at all, every time your breath deepens in a moment of wonder, you are living in tune with that rhythm. The mind tries to complicate it. It tells you that life must be conquered, that happiness must be earned, that you must constantly strive or be left behind. But the heart knows better. The heart knows that the greatest things in life come not from strain, but from surrender. The heart knows that joy is not something you chase, it is something you uncover when you finally stop running from yourself. When you begin to trust life, really trust it, something extraordinary begins to happen. You stop seeing obstacles as enemies. You stop seeing detours as mistakes. You start recognizing that every twist, every turn, every so-called delay is part of a greater choreography designed for your awakening. Even the moments that once broke your heart were not punishments. They were openings. They were invitations to deeper love, deeper wisdom, deeper presence. The universe does not waste a single experience. Not one heartbreak, not one disappointment, not one moment of confusion. Every thread of your life is being woven into a tapestry so vast and so beautiful that if you could see it now you would fall to your knees in awe. But you were never meant to see the whole tapestry from where you stand. You were meant to trust the weaver. You were meant to trust that every stitch, even the ones that seem random or painful, is part of a masterpiece still unfolding. Trust is not blind. Trust sees more clearly than fear ever could. Trust looks at the unknown and says, I may not understand, but I know I am held. Trust looks at the closed door and says, if not this, then something better. Trust looks at the empty hands and says, they are ready to receive. And life responds to that kind of trust. It rushes in to meet it. Because when you stop insisting that life must look a certain way before you allow yourself to be happy, you create space for miracles. You open your arms to gifts that are far greater than anything your mind could have planned. You become like the tree in springtime, opening effortlessly to the warmth of the sun, allowing the buds to blossom without strain, without fear. You become like the bird in flight, riding the invisible currents of the wind, trusting the air beneath its wings. You become like the child who laughs freely, cries freely, lives freely, because she has not yet learned to believe that love must be earned. That child still lives inside you. That trust still lives inside you. It has never been destroyed, only forgotten. And right now, even in this moment, it is stirring again. It is remembering. It is calling you back. There is a place inside you that has never been afraid. A place that has never doubted your worth, your beauty, your belonging. A place that knows, beyond words, beyond reason, that you are one with all that is. When you stop chasing, when you stop grasping, when you stop trying to wrestle life into your version of how it should be, you begin to hear the voice of that place again. It is a quiet voice, but it is steady. It says, you are loved. It says you are safe. It says, you are enough, even now, even here, even when nothing looks the way you thought it would. And the more you listen to that voice, the louder it becomes, until it is no longer a whisper, but a song that carries you through every storm, every uncertainty, every unfolding chapter of your life. Imagine living like that. Imagine waking up each morning not with anxiety, but with wonder. Imagine facing each challenge not with resistance, but with curiosity. Imagine meeting each moment not with fear, but with the quiet, unshakable knowing that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you need to be. This is not just possible. This is natural. This is the way you are meant to live. But it requires a letting go. It requires a surrendering of all the false stories you've been taught to believe about who you need to be and what you need to have in order to be worthy. It requires laying down the armor of fear and picking up the mantle of trust. It requires understanding that you are not here to force the garden to grow. You are here to tend the soil, to plant your seeds, to water them with love, and then to trust the mysterious, miraculous intelligence that knows exactly how and when to bring the harvest. You are not the architect of the universe. You are a beloved participant in its unfolding beauty. And when you surrender your need to control the process, you find yourself dancing in harmony with forces far greater, far wiser, and far more loving than anything you could have ever created on your own. There will still be storms. There will still be moments when the path seems hidden and the night feels long, but you will face them differently. You will walk through them with a light in your heart that cannot be extinguished, because you will know that the storm is not the enemy. It is the necessary rain that nourishes your next blooming. It is the cleansing wind that clears away what no longer serves you, and through it all, you will remember that you are not alone. You have never been alone. The same power that spins the stars spins within you. The same love that holds the oceans holds you. The same breath that moves through all of life moves through you, now, in this very moment. You are not separate from the dance. You are the dance. So, breathe. Soften. Trust. Allow yourself to be carried by the river that has been waiting for you all along. Not because you gave up, but because you woke up, because you remembered who you are, and who you are is free. Freedom is not something you have to chase. Freedom is something you remember. It's the natural state of your soul before the world told you who you were supposed to be. Before fear wrapped its trembling hands around your heart, before you believed that life was something you had to conquer instead of something you could simply trust. Freedom isn't the absence of challenge. Freedom is the deep, unshakable knowing that no matter what rises to meet you, you have within you the light, the strength, and the grace to move through it. When you stop measuring your life by how closely it matches your plans, a whole new world opens before you. You begin to understand that true success has never been about reaching a specific destination. True success is about how fully you show up to the journey. It's about how much love you pour into each step. It's about how willing you are to dance with the unknown instead of resisting it. And oh, the gifts that the unknown holds for you. Gifts far beyond the tired dreams of a mind trapped in fear. The unknown carries the music your soul has been aching to hear. It carries the people who will awaken you, the adventures that will shape you, the revelations that will set you free. But you cannot discover these treasures with a closed fist. You cannot meet them with a mind that insists it already knows what should happen next. You can only find them with open hands, with open eyes, with an open heart. The mind craves certainty. It craves control. It tells you that if you could just figure it all out, if you could just plan every step, you could finally relax. But the soul knows another truth. The soul knows that real peace doesn't come from controlling life. Real peace comes from surrendering to it. Real peace comes from resting in the deep, eternal trust that life is for you, not against you. And that, even when you cannot see the road ahead, you are still being led. You don't have to understand every twist and turn. You don't have to predict every rise and fall. You don't have to have all the answers. You only have to trust that you are not alone in this unfolding. Life itself is your partner, your guide, your greatest ally. And the more you trust it, the more it reveals its kindness, its generosity, its incredible, breathtaking love for you. Imagine living every day as if it were a gift. Imagine waking up with gratitude burning in your chest, not because everything is perfect, but because you have been given the incredible privilege of experiencing another sunrise, another breath, another chance to grow, to love, to discover more of who you truly are. Imagine meeting each challenge not with dread, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that even the hard things are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more radiant. This way of living is available to you. It is not something you have to earn. It is not something reserved for the few. It is your birthright. It is waiting for you right here, right now, in this breath, in this moment, in this sacred now. You have spent enough time trying to force life to bend to your will. You have spent enough time living in fear of the unknown. You have carried the heavy burden of needing to know, to control, to predict for far too long. Isn't it exhausting? Isn't it time to lay that burden down? There is another way. A way of softness, a way of openness, a way of surrender. Not surrender as defeat, but surrender as liberation. Surrender as the doorway to the life you were born to live. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know exactly how your dreams will unfold. You only need to say yes. Yes to life. Yes to trust. Yes to the adventure of becoming who you are meant to be. And when you say yes, truly and deeply, life rushes in to meet you. It rushes in with opportunities you couldn't have planned. It rushes in with relationships that nourish your soul. It rushes in with synchronicities, so beautiful they make you weep with gratitude. It rushes in with healing, with joy, with a sense of belonging that no external achievement could ever match. This is the gift of surrender. This is the miracle of letting go. There will still be moments when your old fears whisper in your ear, moments when the mind tries to pull you back into its old patterns of doubt and control. That's okay. You don't have to fight those moments. You don't have to shame yourself for them. You only have to notice them, smile gently, and return to your deeper knowing. Return to your breath. Return to the river. Return to the trust that carries you even when you momentarily forget. Every time you choose trust over fear, you strengthen your connection to life. Every time you surrender your need to force an outcome, you open yourself to a greater possibility. Every time you breathe deeply and let go, you move closer to the life that has been waiting for you all along. And that life is not somewhere far away. It is not hiding in some distant future. It is here. It is now. It is in this very breath, this very heartbeat, this very moment of remembering who you truly are. You are not the sum of your accomplishments. You are not the mistakes you have made. You are not the fears that sometimes rise up and try to block your light. You are the light. You are the open sky. You are the river flowing effortlessly toward its own perfect fulfillment. You are enough. You have always been enough. And life has always loved you far more than you have dared to believe. So breathe that love in now. Let it fill every corner of your being. Let it wash away the old fears, the old doubts, the old stories that have kept you small. Let it awaken the memory deep within you that you were never meant to fight your way through life. You were meant to trust it, to love it, to dance with it. And as you do, life will dance with you, in every leaf that shivers in the wind, in every star that glimmers in the night sky, in every stranger's smile, every unexpected blessing, every moment of awe that takes your breath away. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you are destined to become. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the magnificent, mysterious unfolding of it all, and above all else, trust that the best is yet to come. When you let go of your timeline, when you stop measuring your life against invisible deadlines, you create the space for miracles to unfold at their perfect pace. Life is not a race. It is a blossoming. And just like no flower is rushed to bloom, no part of you needs to be hurried either. Every dream you hold, every hope you carry, is planted in the soil of your soul at exactly the right moment, and it will bloom in its season, not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Imagine standing in a vast field, under a boundless sky, feeling the breeze moving through you, watching the waves of tall grass dance with the wind. There's no urgency there. There's no competition. There's just life, breathing, expanding, existing in pure harmony with itself. You belong to that same rhythm. You belong to that same peace. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right on time, even if your mind tells you otherwise. Your mind learned to fear time. It learned to see life as a narrow path, with urgent checkpoints and ticking clocks. But your soul knows better. Your soul moves to a deeper, slower, infinitely wiser rhythm, a rhythm that cannot be measured by clocks or calendars, a rhythm that beats in the very heart of existence itself. Trust that rhythm. Trust the pauses as much as the leaps. Trust the winters as much as the summers. Trust the silence as much as the song. Every part of your journey is necessary. Every moment is shaping you into the person you came here to become. Even the moments you resist, even the moments that hurt, especially the moments that stretch you beyond what you thought you could endure, they are chiseling away what is false, what is fearful, what is small within you so that your true magnificence can emerge. You are being refined by love, even when it feels like loss, even when it feels like uncertainty, even when it feels like standing alone in the dark. The darkness is not your enemy. It is the sacred place where seeds crack open and roots grow deep. It is the quiet space where your soul gathers its strength, where it prepares for the next great unfolding. And when the light returns, when the path opens again, you will find yourself stronger, clearer, more radiant than before, not because you fought the darkness, but because you trusted it, because you surrendered to its hidden gifts instead of trying to escape them. The kingdom. This is the real courage. The courage to trust what you cannot see. The courage to open your heart even when you are afraid. The courage to let life remake you again and again, knowing that each time it does, it brings you closer to the truth of who you are. And who you are is so much more than you have been led to believe. You are not here just to survive. You are not here just to get by, to meet expectations, to check off boxes. You are here to shine. You are here to remember your divine nature. You are here to embody the infinite creativity, beauty, and love of the universe itself. And the way you do that is not by trying harder. It is by trusting deeper. It is by loosening the armor you have built around your heart. It is by daring to believe that life is on your side, even when it challenges you, even when it surprises you, even when it asks you to let go of what you thought you couldn't live without. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is allowing space for something greater. Letting go is the sacred art of making room for miracles. It is the quiet surrender that whispers to the universe, "I trust you. I trust that you know better than I do what my soul truly needs." And the universe always responds to that trust. Always. Not always in the ways your mind expects, not always on the timeline your ego demands, but always, and in ways far more magnificent, far more intimate, far more perfect than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. Sometimes the blessing is disguised as an ending. Sometimes the miracle is hidden in the letting go. Sometimes the greatest answer to your prayer is not getting what you thought you wanted, but receiving what you truly needed to grow, to heal, to awaken. You are not being punished when life redirects you. You are being loved. You are being guided. You are being invited to trust a deeper wisdom than your own limited sight can see. And when you say yes to that invitation, when you lean into that trust, something inside you begins to relax. Something inside you begins to soften. The constant tension of striving begins to ease. The relentless anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable begins to dissolve. You begin to move through life with grace instead of force. You begin to act from inspiration instead of desperation. You begin to make decisions not from fear, but from a deep, steady knowing that you are held, you are guided, you are infinitely supported. And as you trust more deeply, you notice the subtle shifts. You notice how peace becomes your new baseline. How joy arises more often, not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer require perfection to feel at home in your life. You notice how even your challenges feel different, not as enemies to be defeated, but as sacred teachers, each one revealing a hidden strength within you. You begin to see that life is not something happening to you, life is something happening through you. You are not a powerless victim of circumstances. You are a powerful participant in a grand, beautiful unfolding, and the more you surrender, the more you remember that you are not separate from that unfolding. You are an expression of it. You are the river. You are the sky. You are the love you have been searching for. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove yourself worthy of it. You only have to open. You only have to allow. You only have to trust. The greatest miracles come to those who are willing to open their hands and release their need to control the outcome. The greatest transformations happen when you say, "I don't know where this road will lead, but I trust that it will take me exactly where I'm meant to go." And that trust, that surrender, that willingness to let life carry you, it changes everything. It changes how you love. It changes how you create. It changes how you walk through the world. It turns every moment into a doorway to deeper peace, deeper joy, deeper freedom. And it all begins with one simple choice. The choice to trust. The choice to let go. The choice to flow with life instead of fighting against it. The choice to remember that you are, and have always been, part of something far greater, far kinder, far more beautiful than you have ever dared to imagine. There is a kind of sacred momentum that builds when you live this way. When you surrender not once but again and again, in each moment, in each breath, in each unknown stretch of the road ahead. It doesn't always come with fireworks. It doesn't always come with loud announcements or flashing signs. Sometimes it comes so quietly, so gently, that you might miss it if you weren't paying attention. It comes in the way your heart feels lighter, without you knowing exactly why. It comes in the way small miracles begin to weave themselves into the fabric of your days. You start to notice that life feels less like a burden to bear and more like a mystery to explore. You stop asking, "When will I arrive?" and you start asking, "What beauty is here for me now?" You stop straining your eyes toward some distant future, and you start noticing the grace that is pouring into your life in this very moment, this very breath, this sacred now. Because the truth is, there is only now. There is only ever now. The future you dream of, the healing you long for, the peace you chase, all of it can only be touched right here, in this space, in this willingness to be present with what is. Your power is not out there, somewhere beyond the horizon. Your power is here, in your heart, in your breath, in your choice to meet this moment with openness instead of resistance. When you live like this, when you trust like this, you start to see that life itself is not a series of problems to solve, but a living, breathing dance of creation. You are not meant to solve life. You are meant to experience it. You are meant to let it move through you, shape you, delight you, awaken you. And yes, sometimes that awakening comes through discomfort. Sometimes it comes through the letting go of what no longer serves you. Sometimes it comes through the emptying out of the old, so that the new can have space to be born. But even those moments are acts of love. Even those moments are invitations to deeper freedom, deeper trust, deeper union with the vastness that you truly are. There is an old teaching that says, "The fruit falls from the tree when it is ripe, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. You cannot rush your blooming. You cannot force your awakening. You can only create the conditions for it by surrendering, by trusting, by allowing life to unfold in its perfect wisdom. You are not behind. You are not late. You have not missed your destiny. Every breath you take is woven into the perfect timing of the universe. Every heartbeat is a drumbeat in the great song of existence. You are part of that song. You are necessary to that song. Without your note, the symphony would be incomplete. You may not always feel it. You may sometimes forget. You may fall back into fear, into striving, into the old habits of control. But even then you are not lost. Even then life holds you. Even then you are being guided back, gently, lovingly, to your true self. The return is always available to you. In any moment you can choose to let go. In any moment you can choose to soften. In any moment you can choose to trust again. And each time you do, you deepen your connection to the river of grace that has been carrying you all along. Imagine living your life not as a desperate quest for security, but as a joyous exploration of wonder. Imagine meeting each day not with a checklist of demands, but with open hands and a curious heart. Imagine looking at the unknown not as a threat, but as a vast, shimmering ocean of possibility. That is the life that is available to you, not someday, not after you achieve some external goal, but now. Now, in this moment of surrender. Now, in this breath of trust. There is a lightness that comes when you live this way, a sense of wonder that colors everything you see. The smallest things, a leaf drifting on the wind, the sound of rain against the window, the feeling of warm sunlight on your skin, become miracles again. You remember how to see. You remember how to feel. You remember how to be fully, gloriously alive. And you realize that you never needed to earn this aliveness. You never needed to prove yourself worthy of joy. Joy is your natural state. Peace is your birthright. Love is your essence. You only needed to stop blocking it with fear, with control, with the endless striving that keeps you locked in the illusion that you are separate from life. You are not separate. You never have been. You are the river and the sea. You are the dreamer and the dream. You are the beloved and the love itself. When you live from that knowing, you move differently. You love differently. You create differently. Your life becomes an offering instead of a transaction. Your presence becomes a gift instead of a performance. Your every breath becomes a prayer of gratitude for the miracle of existence. And even when storms come, even when the winds rise and the skies darken, you are not shaken in the same way. Because you know that the storm is not the end. You know that the storm is part of the cycle, part of the cleansing, part of the deeper unfolding that your mind may not understand, but your soul recognizes and welcomes. You find a deep, steady anchor within yourself, not because you have armored yourself against life, but because you have surrendered so fully to life that nothing can uproot you. You are rooted in trust. You are rooted in love. You are rooted in the unshakable truth that you are exactly where you need to be, becoming exactly who you are meant to become. And so you move forward, not with fear, but with faith, not with control, but with openness, not with desperation, but with devotion to the sacred mystery that is your life. This is the invitation life is offering you right now, to step out of the old story of striving and into the new story of surrender, to step out of the small self that needs to control and into the vast self that knows how to trust. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to see the whole path. You only have to take the next step. You only have to say yes, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, to the great unfolding that is already happening within you and around you. And as you do, you will find yourself walking through a life that feels less like a struggle and more like a prayer, less like a battlefield and more like a homecoming, because you are coming home, home to yourself, home to the river, home to the love that has been holding you all along. There's a profound softness waiting for you when you surrender, a softness that the world often misunderstands as weakness, but is in truth the greatest strength you can embody. It is the strength of the tree that bends with the storm instead of breaking. It is the strength of the ocean that yields and flows yet shapes continents. It is the strength of the soul that knows it has nothing to prove, because it is already whole. This softness isn't passivity. It's presence. It's the fierce, unshakable trust that you don't have to fight life to be supported by it. You don't have to battle yourself to be worthy of love. You only have to remember that you are already enough. You are already chosen. You are already part of the sacred current moving all things toward their perfect expression. And from this softness, miracles are born. From this softness, healing flows naturally. From this softness, you become magnetic to all that truly belongs to you, not through striving, not through pleading, but through simply being. You see, when you stop trying to grip life so tightly, you stop blocking the blessings that have been circling you all along, waiting for an open door. When you relax your fists, when you unclench your heart, you create space, and into that space flows everything you once thought you had to chase. You don't have to chase love. Love finds the open heart. You don't have to chase success. Success finds the open soul ready to serve and to shine. You don't have to chase happiness. Happiness blooms naturally in the open field of surrender. The greatest shift you will ever experience is not from one set of circumstances to another. The greatest shift is from fear to trust, from contraction to openness, from resistance to flow. When you make that shift, your entire life begins to realign. It's as if the universe itself rearranges to meet your new vibration, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Think of the vast night sky. Think of the countless stars hanging silently in the darkness, not rushing, not grasping, simply shining. Each star in its perfect place, each one a testament to the quiet power of simply being what it is. You are no different. Your light, your truth, your presence, they are enough. You were never meant to force yourself into some shape you were not born to inhabit. You were meant to shine exactly as you are, exactly where you are. When you surrender, you stop measuring your worth by external standards. You stop needing the world's approval to feel alive. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions to give yourself permission to be happy. You realize that happiness is not a destination. It is a way of traveling. It is a way of being with yourself, with life, with each moment as it unfolds. And the beautiful irony is, when you no longer demand that life make you happy, you discover happiness rising naturally within you. When you stop insisting that life meet your conditions, you find life offering you gifts you could have never scripted for yourself. It becomes effortless because you become effortless. You align with the natural flow instead of fighting against it. You become like the river, like the sky, like the tree. Powerful not through force but through deep alignment with what is. And this alignment is not something you have to achieve, it's something you remember. It's something you uncover beneath the layers of fear, beneath the old stories of scarcity and struggle, beneath the armor you thought you needed to survive. You don't need that armor anymore. You don't need to defend yourself against life. Life is not your enemy. Life is your greatest ally, your truest mirror, your most faithful teacher. Every experience, even the ones you didn't choose, even the ones you wouldn't wish to repeat, has been part of your becoming. Every moment has shaped you, strengthened you, softened you in the places that needed softening, fortified you in the places that needed strengthening. You are not a mistake. Your journey is not a mistake. Every step, every detour, every seeming delay has carried you closer to the truth of who you are. And now, in this moment, you are being invited to trust that truth more deeply than you ever have before. To trust the intelligence that breathes your body. To trust the love that stirs your soul. To trust the unseen hands guiding you, even when the path disappears into mist. You don't need to see the whole way ahead. You only need to trust the next step. You only need to listen to the quiet wisdom rising from within you. The wisdom that says, you are safe, you are guided, you are exactly where you need to be. And when fear comes, as it sometimes will, you can meet it with compassion instead of resistance. You can say, I see you, I honor you, but I do not obey you. I choose trust, I choose love, I choose surrender. You are so much stronger than you think, not because you can force life to bend to your will, but because you can bend with life without breaking, because you can remain open even when it would be easier to close, because you can choose faith even in the face of uncertainty. And that choice, made again and again, breath by breath, becomes the foundation of a life lived in alignment with the highest truth. A life not ruled by fear but guided by love. A life not weighed down by expectations but lifted by wonder. A life not driven by the desperate need to prove yourself, but inspired by the joyful recognition that you are already enough. This is the life that is calling you now. This is the life that is unfolding even now, beneath the surface of your plans, beyond the grasp of your worries. A life of ease, a life of grace, a life where you are carried by the river instead of exhausted by the struggle to swim against it. And all it asks of you is this: to trust, to let go of the need to know how it all works out, to surrender the illusion that you have to figure it all out alone, to open your hands, your heart, your mind, and receive the endless gifts that life has been longing to give you. Because you are worthy of those gifts. You always have been. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of a life that feels like a blessing, not a battle. And that life is not somewhere out there, waiting for you to find it. It is here. It is now. It is within you. It has been waiting patiently for you to stop chasing, to stop striving. It has been waiting for you to simply let go and trust. There's something extraordinary that happens when you finally surrender. When you stop standing at the edge of life, demanding that it explain itself, and instead step into the river with open hands and open heart. You realize that life was never testing you. It was always loving you. Every delay, every twist, every moment that didn't go according to your plan was an act of deeper love guiding you to a destiny bigger than your imagination could hold. You begin to see that nothing was ever truly lost, that every dream you thought had slipped away was only transforming into something more aligned with your true path, that every ending was secretly a beginning, that every broken piece was being rearranged into a masterpiece you just weren't far enough along to see yet. And the more you trust, the more beauty you uncover, not because you chased it, not because you earned it, but because you aligned with it, because you chose to believe that life is fundamentally good, even when it is hard, because you dared to see that beneath the surface chaos, there is an exquisite order, weaving everything together in perfect time. The storms that once terrified you become teachers. The losses that once shattered you become openings. The unanswered questions that once haunted you become sacred mysteries that you no longer need to solve to feel at peace. You start to understand that clarity does not come from controlling everything. Clarity comes from trust. It rises naturally when you stop gripping so tightly and allow the dust to settle on its own. When you let go of forcing, when you release your need to rush, life has a way of revealing itself with breathtaking precision. The truth is, you were never abandoned. You were being prepared. Every detour, every heartbreak, every pause that made you doubt your own journey was part of a grand preparation for the life you are now ready to receive. And when you realize that, when you let that truth sink into your bones, something inside you shifts forever. You no longer look at life with suspicion. You look at it with reverence. You no longer walk in fear. You walk in wonder. You start to see signs everywhere. A feather on the ground, a sudden breeze, a song playing at the perfect moment. Reminders that you are not alone. That you are seen. That you are deeply, intimately loved by a universe that has been conspiring in your favor all along. And you no longer need to force anything to happen. You trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you. You trust that if something slips away, it was never truly yours. You trust that life knows your heart better than you do and that it will never withhold what is meant to help you rise. That trust changes the way you move through the world. It changes the energy you carry into every room. It changes the way people respond to you, the way opportunities find you, the way miracles unfold around you. Because you are no longer radiating fear, you are radiating faith. You are no longer broadcasting lack, you are embodying abundance. You are no longer living from a place of survival, you are living from a place of divine connection, and life responds to that frequency. It always has, it always will. When you trust, you become magnetic. Not because you are doing more, but because you are being more present, being more open, being more available to the infinite possibilities that exist beyond the narrow walls of your old fears. You start to realize that the things you once chased were only ever reflections of deeper desires, the desire to feel alive, to feel loved, to feel whole. And when you align with trust, you find that those deeper desires are fulfilled from within. You are alive because you choose to be awake to the miracle of this moment. You are loved because you recognize that you are love itself. You are whole because you remember that nothing essential has ever been missing. And from that fullness, life begins to overflow. Opportunities arrive not because you clawed for them, but because you made yourself available for them. Love deepens not because you demanded it, but because you became the kind of presence that invites it naturally. Success blooms not because you pushed harder, but because you trusted deeper and allowed your true gifts to shine without fear. This is the great paradox of surrender, that in letting go, you gain everything, that in releasing your grip, you receive more than you ever dared to dream. And it's not because you manipulated life into giving you what you wanted. It's because you entered into partnership with life itself. You aligned with the creative intelligence that has been moving the stars across the sky, stirring the tides, orchestrating miracles long before you ever knew to ask. You stopped trying to be the sole architect of your destiny and instead became a conscious co-creator with the divine. And in that partnership, everything becomes possible. You find yourself guided by an inner knowing that doesn't always make sense to the mind but feels undeniable to the heart. You find yourself drawn to places, people, and opportunities that your old self would have never even known to seek. You find yourself living in a flow so profound, so beautiful, that you wonder how you ever survived living any other way. This is not about abandoning dreams or sitting passively on the sidelines of your life. It is about showing up fully, taking inspired action, and then releasing the outcome. It is about planting your seeds with love and letting the rains come when they will. It is about doing your part and trusting life to do its part in return. Because life wants to meet you. Life wants to dance with you. Life wants to pour its blessings into your open hand. It has always wanted this. It has only been waiting for you to trust enough to receive. And now you are ready. You are ready to live with your heart open, your hands open, your mind open to the infinite ways that life can bless you. You are ready to stop chasing and start welcoming. You are ready to stop controlling and start collaborating. You are ready to stop doubting and start trusting, because life is not a test you have to pass. It is a miracle you are here to experience, and the more you trust, the more miraculous it becomes. When you begin to see life this way, when you stop seeing yourself as separate from its intelligence, you start to move with a grace that cannot be taught, only remembered. You start to understand that the universe is not some distant force outside of you. It is the very essence of you. It is the breath that moves through your lungs. It is the light that burns behind your eyes. It is the quiet, persistent knowing that you were never alone, not for one single moment. And because you are made of the same intelligence that spins the planets and blooms the flowers, you don't have to force your way through existence. You simply have to remember your belonging. You simply have to step back into the natural rhythm that was carrying you all along, even when you thought you had to do it all yourself. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were simply being invited to surrender deeper, to trust wider, to love more bravely than you ever thought possible. And once you say yes to that invitation, once you allow yourself to trust not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard, everything begins to change. You find that you are no longer addicted to struggle. You find that you are no longer addicted to suffering. You realize that peace is not something you have to earn, but something you allow. You realize that love is not something you have to chase, but something you reveal by dropping every barrier you ever built to protect yourself from it. There is no protection needed when you live from trust. There is only openness. There is only presence. There is only the sweet, breathtaking simplicity of being here, fully, without defenses, without pretense. And yes, living this way means feeling deeply. It means opening yourself to joy so expansive it shatters your old limits. It means opening yourself to grief so profound it softens every hard edge you ever carried. But you realize that feeling deeply is not a weakness. It is the doorway to your aliveness. It is the river that carries you straight into the heart of what it means to be human. You were not made to be numb. You were made to feel. You were made to breathe in the full beauty of life and let it break you open again and again until there is nothing left but love. And when you live this way, when you trust life enough to let it move you, you become a lighthouse in a world obsessed with control. You become a living reminder that it is safe to soften, that it is powerful to trust, that it is revolutionary to live from the truth of your own heart. You begin to radiate a presence that draws others not because you are trying to prove anything, but because you have become a living embodiment of what their souls are longing to remember. You become the still lake that reflects the sky. You become the steady mountain that does not flinch in the storm. You become the river that carries the seeds of new life down to thirsty land. Not through effort, through being, through trusting that who you are, as you are, is already enough. through surrendering the old lies that told you you had to earn your place here, through daring to believe that the universe that dreamed you into existence is not your adversary, but your greatest ally. And as you live from that place, you start to see that every moment, every interaction, every breath is an opportunity to love more, to trust more, to open wider. You are no longer chasing happiness around the next corner. You are no longer deferring your peace to some future moment when everything finally lines up the way your mind insists it should. You are living it now. You are feeling it now. You are breathing it now. Because peace was never out there. It was always within you, waiting for you to remember that it is not created by external conditions, but by the way you choose to meet this moment. And the way you choose to meet this moment can change everything. You can meet it with resistance, or you can meet it with surrender. You can meet it with fear, or you can meet it with faith. You can meet it with doubt, or you can meet it with love. Every moment offers you this choice. And every time you choose trust, you rewrite the story you have been living. You become the author of a new story. A story where you are not a victim of life, but a beloved participant in its endless unfolding. A story where you are not driven by fear of what might go wrong, but guided by the quiet, steady knowing that everything is working together for your highest good, even when you cannot yet see how. A story where you are not racing towards some distant destination, but dancing in the miracle of each step, each breath, each heartbeat. And you realize that the real gift of surrender is not just in what it brings you, it's in who you become when you trust. You become softer, yet stronger. You become humbler, yet more powerful. You become gentler, yet more unstoppable. You become a living embodiment of the truth that the universe is not something to be conquered, but something to be collaborated with. You stop fighting the flow, and you start flowing with the fight. Not a fight against life, but a fight for presence, for love, for joy, for the sacred remembrance of who you truly are. And in that flow, in that surrender, you find a kind of freedom that nothing and no one can ever take from you. The freedom of an open heart, the freedom of a trusting spirit, the freedom of a soul that knows it is already home. And when you live from that freedom, life becomes something entirely different. It becomes a grand, beautiful mystery that you are privileged to walk through, not a problem you must solve. It becomes a conversation with the divine, a constant exchange of giving and receiving, breathing and being breathed, loving and being loved. It becomes a playground of miracles, a sacred dance of creation, a living, breathing testament to the power of trust. And you become the dancer, the dreamer, the beloved child of a universe that has been singing you home all along. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove it. You only have to trust it. You only have to open your hands, open your heart, and say yes. Yes to life. Yes to love. Yes to the river that knows the way.